they have come to Earth with the promise of peace. An alien race called the Taelons. But there are those who resist these alien companions. For the Taelons' true mission, the secrets they hide will forever alter our world. The fate of humanity now relies on those who dare challenge the future of Earth.
Well, hello, right, this is an unusual review, right, let's get in there, and yeah, Earth Final Conflict, a sci-fi series that came out in the 90s. Well, what do we say about that? I've just been watching it. I didn't know it were all on YouTube. I have got season 1 on DVD. Right, let's really get into the mode of this. Right, here we go. Right, well, I'll just turn it down. No, it's interesting. I remember it when it were on Sky 1 years ago. It started when Stargate started around about the same time, because I didn't know, I was living in London, I'd just moved to London, and I didn't have Sky, and a friend of mine I used to go to Star Trek bar, he recorded the pilot episode for Stargate, because I'd ordered Sky. I was waiting for it, and this come out, it was in SFX magazine, Gene Roddenberry, one of his latest scripts for a TV series like Andromeda. So this was Earth Final Conflict, and I watched first episode, and right, what was first episode called? Right, Decision. Alright, I've had to put the website up just in case I need to refer to any information. Well, it was about Commander William Boone at fought in something called the SI Wars. And he was a hero. Now, I liked William Boone, and when the war were going on, the Taelons turned up, and obviously they changed the world under the cover of being benevolent aliens. And the first season is absolutely spectacular. The production values, especially the writing, is pretty amazing in this TV series. Because they'd gone, it was all more character development, and you're following his journey. There's Dan, who's like sort of, he's the Taelon. Well, they're non-sexual, they're binary. So you've got Zio, who's he's like the mustachioed Taelon villain, and I'm going to go into these characters in a minute. And Boone saves Dan's life. Jonathan Dawes, he's the head of the Resistance. Lily Marquette, there's all these great characters, and of course I'm a big fan of Auger, the computer hacker genius dude, who was very streetwise. I've noticed in a lot of science fiction series you get a lot of this, the genius with the comedy aspects. Rodney McCain's Stargate Atlantis. There's loads of other series. You get the comic relief with the scientist who's a genius but is a bit dodgy. The hero, the muscle man, and of course the female lead as well. But you got them standard characters. But the thing is with Boone, a lot of the fan base thought he was a bit of a plank. Pretty basic. I really appreciated his character, because I think over 5 seasons his character could have really developed really good. I don't know what's going on there. Right, we need more Taelon music, right? The long version. And we got into the first season, yeah? And the Taelons have turned Earth into, they've offered the human race technology, and there's like teleporting places through this like transport system. You can get anywhere in the world, and they've offered human race gadgets, and they've solved famine and all the other problems. The world's a much better place because they've contributed, so we're working with them. But are we a conquered race? Because they've just brought humanity up, like all our desires, you know, with technology and that. And that's what made this interesting. Because at the back of this, the Taelons have this agenda, and every week it goes into like there's some moral thing, or there's something going on, and then just at the end you get some kind of conspiracy with the Taelons. And in the middle of this, you've got Ronald Sandoval, who's the protector to Zior, and he works for, he's a like the head companion, he's an FBI agent. He's got his own agenda because he's playing both sides of the human race and them, and obviously he's after power, but he's having to fight off loads of other people trying to get rid of him, but he's knocking loads of people off. Well, he knocks off Boone's wife because this CVI, when you become a companion, you give you this skrill where you can fight energy blasts, and then you get a CVI that you can, it does something to your mind, it makes it more efficient, but it puts you more in control. At Taelon, you lose something like your emotions, because there's an episode with Sandoval where it misfires, it don't work, and you see a different person. It's quite emotional. Now Sandoval, I like Sandoval. I've actually met Van Flores, only little. Met him at Startup Bar one night, you were in there, you were interesting. But his character, every week he's up to stuff. He's like a chief arse licker with his own agenda, you know, between all these sort of characters. Well, this is going on with him, trying to manipulate his own event with his agenda. The Taelons have got this massive cosmic agenda, right? And every week we're running about with Resistance. Jonathan Dawes, head of the corporation, who's like financing the research against the Taelons, because they know the Taelons are not as benevolent. But like I said, what's interesting, human race adores them at first because they've solved all problems in Wales, and everybody seems quite happy with technology being given, get about anywhere, and medical tech. It's a lot of things have been going on, because this starts with Taelons. You already start when they've been there. They've been there a good few years. But then you start getting into history. The Taelons have been coming to Earth for thousands of years. And there's an episode where they get on an arms community where they find a probe, and it's got nothing to do with Taelons, and it duplicates everything. It's the Geridians. Because when I watched this, I thought, oh, there's something else here. It's not just the Taelons. And all this is going on. And Dior, he like on verge of coming, like, because the Taelons are all in communication with each other in a thing called the commonality. They're all one mind, you know, so they're all connected. But it comes out, I'll go into what their agenda is. Now this series, after season 1, it just forget it where it goes, right? So we get on to like the old Taelon thing, their agenda, and there comes a final episode when we get to the end of season 2, because season 2 is the best one. So it's a great starting block if you're going to watch this. It builds it beautiful. The writing's well done, the quality, the money, the budget, everything's just right. And this is going somewhere. At that time you had Earth 2, Stargate, Andromeda were sort of out within that time frame, but a lot, Mutant X, I think they all came from that. Is it Atlantis Alliance Company or something they called it? They made a lot of this stuff. And there was a lot of science fiction coming out at the time, all trying to develop its own identity, which were really interesting. But this, it's not perfect, right, because I'm going to go into it, because it does falter badly in the later seasons. In season 1, it comes together spectacular. Even ending when Boone dies and Zior vaporises his body, because this other alien's on the loose called the Chimera, and it's jumping bodies. And they're all terrified at Taelon that this is on Earth, because you're getting a bit more about the Geridians. And it takes over Sandoval, and then it gets this. There's an Irish companion, Beckett. She fancies, is it Beckett? She fancies Sandoval, and she gets pregnant through mysterious means. And it's this Chimerates took on a human form. No, it's created a child. I'll go into that in a second. So she's having a baby. Anyway, Boone's dead, and that's the cliffhanger for first season with this Chimera thing. Because there's a big shootout in church where the resistance is based underneath. And that's it. The first season, honestly, is really, really good. Honestly, if you're going to watch this, I do recommend. It's not slow going. They're building depth to it. And they're setting up stuff, set up 2 seasons from now. And it is different about the alien invasion scenario, that these are benevolent aliens. And how we a conquered race, because they've just bought everything up, basically. Because we've got gadget, like I said, all gadget and tech. And the world is a better place because of them. But the Taelons, they're financing experiments on human beings. A lot of genetic manipulation, things going on that shouldn't be going on. And a lot of human higher ups are turning a blind eye to it, because it's put the politicians in good stead. Like Jonathan Doe says, we need to wake up to this, because these bastards have an agenda, and he's right, they do. So we get to the end of season 1. Boone dies. I were pretty gutted. Then I read in SFX years ago he'd left because there was some dispute about money or some on set. Because this is one series where basically every season or 2 seasons they change the cast totally. So it ends up with Lily Marquette. She I'm gonna have to try and remember this. I've watched a lot of it and I'm still assimilating it all. Second season you get Liam Kincaid. Not a bad character, bit boring. I think the guy that played Lee Shocker, his name is. He's a good actor, seen him a lot of other stuff, but he's a bit of a plank in this. Well, Beckett, the Irish one, she has a baby, and they're all in resistance base in season 2. And fucking kid grows up in 5 minutes. It comes out as a baby, then it's a 5-year-old, then it's like a 30-year-old bloke, and he goes, my name's Liam. And suddenly he just adopts this identity of this, Major Kincaid who fought under William Boone in the SI War, the South Indo War or some Indonesian War. Because that's when the Taelons turned up, and they stopped it really, because the shot of intervened. That's in one of the episodes, in one of the seasons. And while all this is going on, he's investigating and he's discovering his alien heritage. And we run through season 2 in Minoga, and you get to learn more about the Geridians and bits more about the Taelons are coming out. Well, it comes out that the Taelons are here they're dying, and with the Geridians, they're of the same race but split off millions of years ago. There was a Taelon called Miguel who turned up on Earth centuries back, who knew this, who was like one of the great leaders, but he knew where all this was going. And so he's left like the fine stuff like on Earth, like old chambers, with pictures of this Taelon and human race. It comes out that we can save them through, I don't know, our evolution. It's all this to do with it. Well, the Geridians, they got very short lifespans. They're like us. They've got feelings and emotions, where the Taelons have lost all that, but they live for thousands of years. The Gerid don't even live as long as us. It's like half our lifespan because they're burning up energy. And it ends up both races are not breeding anymore. So, like, Dan is like, he knows this, and he thinks there should be a merging. Whereas Zio, he's got his own agenda, because it gets really funny. So we run through second season, which is there is some good episodes in there, don't get me wrong, but it's pretty bloody pointless. I mean, I can understand why people are switching off, and I know there's a fan base for this series, and I totally get that. So then Lily Marquette gets sent to Geridia. She has a kid with Geridia. They all it third season. Or whatever bloody season. And it, you know, you're getting more about the Taelon-Geridian war. Because Taelon's a losing war. And then when we get to end of second season, I think the president is someone's going to assassinate him. And then in comes like Jonathan Dawes' son, who's like don't get on with his father. I just thought that it were alright, but they were just putting it in as an idea. Whether we're both against each other. And then we sort of get through that, and then I think it's in third season, where a lot of resistance gets arrested as criminals right across the world. Governments turn against them, and Zell's like the basic Taelon's the force in the will on planet by this point. But then all this gets undone by Liam Kincaid because he saves the situation, and we run along into the fourth season. Now, I like Rennie Palmer. I think Jane Nightmare's beautiful. I've got a big crush on her. I think she's a great actress, and but she just wears leather all the time, running about. She's very smart, but she wears leather and fires laser guns. And this is what they said about her in fifth season. I don't even get me started on fifth season. So we're getting to the third season, which is I'd say we're better than fourth. And then we get to the fourth season, because like this is it now. Geridians, because the Geridians sent a message to Earth warning us that if we help the Taelon, they're going to wipe us out, and they're on the way to Earth. Lily Marquette's had a kid to a Geridian because they brainwash her in this big hologram thing. Because Sandoval sends her to Geridia because he's trying to make an alliance with them if they offer him power over Earth, right? But they're all taking him for the right dick, you know, because like he's teaming up with Taelons and he teams up with them. Well, Sandoval becomes wanted on Earth by authorities, but Zior steps in, and this because he's leader at commonality, but their war is not going well with the Geridians, and there ain't a lot of Taelons left, and things just lose the plot here. Because all this is building up to this moment in this episode where these Geridians turn up on Earth, right? They have turned up before. And they end up going to this volcano. And Liam Kincaid, he meets his alien dad, who's been sent from the cosmic consciousness or whatever, to talk to him and says, you've got a destiny, you're more than just a human, right? So we get into all this, right? There's a big showdown with Geridians, Taelons and all this. Jonathan Dawes has died. The Resistance now down to Rennie Palmer, Liam Kincaid, Auger, but he's on his way out as well. So they all end up, right, well they end up in a volcano, and there's like this well of life and these chambers, and it's going to go off, and there's a picture of that ancient Taelon who knew all this. And they need Liam Kincaid. He stands on this energy of life, and he says to Rennie, you've got to go, get out, this is what I'm here for. And he merges both through him. They manage to merge what's left, because Geridian homeworld implodes, never explains why. So there's millions of Geridians dead. I think there's about 150 Taelons left. And it's just fucking stupid by this point. So it merges all this, and they obviously ascend to the universal fucking consciousness. And it's just ridiculous. Now don't forget, when we go back to the first season, it's amazing. This could have been a classic, this, especially with the whole conspiracy behind the benevolent alien thing and their enemies, but they fucked it up. And I mean, don't get me wrong, you're not going to turn this off, because you want to know. Now when it all merged, right, and she got out with survivors, because I like Street, the new character that comes in to replace Arga. She's cool, you know, she's very much a product of that time, you know what I mean, with fashion and that. And Sandoval, he comes merged with a Geridian, like, looks like a fucking Borg walking around shit, but he gets fucking Taelons and all this merge. Zor turns up. He stands up well, I think, thinking he's going to become immortal. Because their race is dying, but he's been going around stealing Taelon energy from other Taelons. You see, if they're cut off from commonality, they become atavis, which are totally different. My God, don't get me started on season 5, right? So all this is going on, and you still really haven't got anywhere on any of this. So, like, you're 4 seasons in by this time, and I've binge watched a few episodes a night over the last 6 weeks to make this video. So we finally got there, right, to finally get this answer, and that's it. So there's nothing new with Answer. It's quite a letdown that they merge with their enemies to become what they once were, or evolve. But there's only 6 Geridians left and about a couple of Taelons. There's a load on ship in Stacy, but they're all dead because Zor's going round feeding on them. Now Dan is the mother and father of Zor, because that comes out, which is quite interesting. And them two together, when they're both like arguing, is great, because, like, you know, Zor is like really manipulative and evil, like, you know, whereas Diane is got an agenda, but got her own sort of thing. Well, they got all women that played the Taelons, which I think that the actresses played fantastic. I mean, the Taelons look amazing. And so that's how season 4 finished. It was a bit of a disappointment, actually. So we jumped to season 5. Don't get me started. Now, some people like this. I don't know. I'm a big fan of Jane Hytmire. I think she's hot. She's lovely. I mean, I'd marry her tomorrow. I think she's so cool. I've seen her on interviews. She's a nice person. But she is lovely. And so I stuck with season 5. Not because, you know, but I just think she's very attractive. Don't get me wrong. She's lovely. Right, but I liked her character, Renee Palmer. She's cool, she's intelligent, she's a warrior and a leader, and I liked her for that. She was great. So we get into season 5. She gets an expedition because Mothership's still in orbit. Sandoval's up there, radiation poisoning, still bitter and twisted, trying to get his agenda through. But he can't fully control Taelon ship. So, and first episode of season 5 is really good. Now, she gets a sub. She rents a sub because she's got loads of money. She gets a crew of mercs. And they go down into that under volcano and find a chamber. And they go in there in the hopes of finding Liam Kincaid. Did he survive? Because she's in love with him, right? And there's nothing there, but guess what? Guess what's woken up? Fucking space sex vampires in leather. I am not kidding you, right? Making stupid squealing noises, climbing up walls, jumping about, wearing one-off leather outfits that look like goths from the 90s, right? And this is, I thought, after all that, is this what you've come up with, right? And they're all sex mad, and they're all like feeding on human life. There's about 10 of them. Right, so Sandoval gets involved. There's a big show out with us, with Renee's crew. A lot of them die. And there's one called Howland, and he's the dude in Star Trek Discovery, as in from Section 31. Leyland, that's him. I mean, I bet Alan Van Sprank, I bet he don't want to admit doing this. So he's in tight leathers, right, with haircut from like a rock band from 90s and 80s, right? You know, his mullet, right? And it's all he brings them on board ship, Sandoval. And the female one, she takes a bit of a liking to him and cures him of his wounds. And they sort of turn him into an hybrid because they can't feed on him because he's got Zior's energy. Because now, Howland, Edit Vampires, right, he's obsessed with Renee Palmer's character. He's just obsessed with her. Right. And it goes on every week with these ludicrous bloody schemes of them trying to find his others, because they're all in chambers under planet. They used to exist 3 million years ago before we were like savages. We never even existed 3 bloody million years ago. We were like, maybe we did, I don't know. But it all ends up, well, they were feeding on cavemen because they turned up and built an empire on Earth, feeding on humans. But it all ends up, it's a big fight, and You know, they're on ship. He sits on like chair, bossing Sandoval about. Well, Sandoval's been sneaky. She defeats them every week. So they create this thing called a hybrid, and they try to make it a bit like the Invaders, because nobody believes her about all these alien vampires up on ship. There's only about 10 of them. So, I mean, they really cut the budgets down on this, because I think another company had took it over, and they tried to milk another season out of this story. And you do get some stuff going back. Now, there's this Taelon consciousness that survived called Miguel. I don't know how that happened, but, you know, she's telling Rennie, you've got a destiny. This is Earth's true final conflict. And, right, what is going on here? It shouldn't be doing that. Right. So it goes on and on and on. And I'm sorry this has been a long video, but I have to talk about this. I mean, fucking space vampires, and it was terrible. It was. So it all ends up, there's her running around undoing everything every week. And this really cheesy scheme of space vampires and hybrids taking over government. I mean, you know, by this time you wanted to kick the telly in, but I stuck it out with sheer fanatism because, you know, Jane Atmeyer, she's a great actress, and the girl that plays Street, she's cool. And I did like some of the characters, but we'll jump through a lot of this. We get to final 2 episodes, right? And it all ends up with the Taelon, who's like, sort of, just hanging about on the ship with the space vampires. Just hanging about up there. I mean, there were no thought about this 5th season at all. So we get down to it, right? Right, she's like, he's telling at Taelon that you've got a destiny, and there's a big battle, and she's like, they find the they're called Atavus, right? Sex-based Atavus space vampires, right? So they find their old ship, and they dig through and they get it. Oh, he's got a son who they find in another stasis chamber who don't feed on human beings. I mean, it was so fucking basic, right? So it gets down to it, right? They find his ship, and he wakes some of his crew up, and they're going to launch and devastate the planet, you know. And devastate planet, but obviously there's a plan going on to undo this. But what happens is, one of Atavus, who's been asleep, says, we need to test the ship before it works, because he's so fanatical as this Howland. I mean, you can't, I mean, he's alright, he's good in Discovery, but I mean, this is just terrible. They're all there in tight leather suits and mullet haircuts from an 80s rock band, right? And he said, oh, we need to test ship out first. And he's going, no, we're launched now. Anyway, fucks the ship. I mean, it's done. There isn't even any explanation for it. He just goes, ship's not working because of all this, right? So Miguel pops up and says to Rennie, your time is now. So anyway, she tells Miguel up there, right, to be in the stasis chamber, because the thing is, it's not about revenge. You've got to go beyond that, you know, the human thing. And she does the right thing. His kid. Well, this Howland, he gets done by another space vampire. Do you know what I mean? Because they think he's a dick, and he is a dick. Right, so he's dead. That were also 20 odd episodes of him and his character with no personality, nothing about it whatsoever. Right, it's pointless. Right, so he's dead. And then we get on to the whole thing of like on board. Oh yeah, Zor comes back from dead, and they change him into a space vampire. So you've got him running about in background as a woman, and she has sex for the first time, and she feeds on human, really getting off on it because it's fucking boring being a Taelon. Do you know what I mean? This is her conclusion. But she gets done by Rennie, who smashes him into shield at Mothership. So that's done. So that were like 10 episodes ago. Oh yeah, William Boone dies off screen. So 2 episodes they brought him back for. He's dead. It's just pointless. I think they just said, look, we'll pay you a load of money, come back. And they keep referring to him as the greatest one. He was in it for 1 fucking season, right? And then it all comes up. She gets up to the Mothership. Oh, this is it. Sandoval. It's only took him 5 years to figure out where the secret base is under church. and he's freaking out. And then it all comes out, I think he fancied her over the last couple of years. Because he said, when I kill you, I want it to be private. There's this moment where I think he's thinking certain thoughts. Well, she's not having it. She ends up like jumping around, kicking gun out of his hair, kicking him off this step, and he falls into all this electrical stuff and spikes, and he's dying, and she stood over him like she's got no remorse for him at all, because he's a nasty piece of work. And he said, I don't regret anything I've done, and she just lets him die. So anyway, she goes up to the mothership, right, you've got all fucking space vampires trying to launch off. But human resistance vaporises a lot of them, and then some. So anyway, I keep jumping out of this, right? So they beam up the stasis pods at space fucking vampires, right? Right, hang on, let's get on to theme tune, right, that's better. So we get on to, like, the beam them aboard, and it's just complete utter bollocks by this time, because guess what? Liam Kincaid turns up. This was the guy that merged with both aliens and went off into the spatial universe, the Force. Let's call it the Force, right? But the Force decided to release him because the Atavis need to be returned up because we're connected to what? We're all connected to each other. Fucking Geridians, Taelons, Atavis, the Chimera, and whoever else. So, like, she's going to take him back to her own planet, and she, like, little space vampire, because back on their planet they don't feed on people. So I assume Alan, he's like some cult sect who escaped, wanted to do his own thing, feeding on everybody else. But back on the planet they don't take lives, apparently. And that's it. And like Liam Kincaid walks around the corner because she's going on about alt sacrifice and alt men, because every man she meets fucking dies, right? And I'm like, yeah, whatever, right? And it all ends up, you've got Miguel, the Taelon, vampire kid, her and him, right? Flying off around, because her destiny is to go around the universe with them, right? Right? Getting off with Liam Kincaid or whatever. And Space Vampire Kid and Taelon, who's the consciousness of what's left of him, right? To explore the universe together, to learn stuff, and then she's going to come back to humanity and teach him, because humanity is at its stage of its next evolution, and that's it. That's it. I've watched all these fucking episodes for that. So, I mean, it started off marvellously as season 1, and from season 2, it dipped and peaked. Season 3, it went up and down. Season 4, I'd say it were better than 3 to a point, but there were no resolution to any of it, and what resolution they did have, it was absolutely terrible. It really was. So, that's my review of her final conflict. It should have been something. It should have been a classic series like Babylon 5. It had the potential. I no doubt if it was remade today. Gene Roddenberry is a genius, but I don't think they took it in the way he wanted to go with, and it's such a shame. It is, but I've got to admit, I did enjoy watching it. I didn't like binge watching it. So I watched a few episodes a night when I came in, and it was enjoyable. You know, as cheesy as it is, especially the 5th season, is terrible. It is the worst. But there is some kind of thing where you do like it. It's a weird one, is her final conflict. Do I hate it? Do I like it? You're in the middle. Do you know what I mean? You think, bloody hell, that was stupid. And then you'll get an episode with some kind of story, and you think, wow, that's pretty interesting. But where it went towards the end was a disappointment. You know, the characters are just so good, but they change the characters every season, so you never got a chance to develop with people. Apparently there were lots of problems on set. I read it on Wikipedia that it's one of few series where they changed the main cast every season. Lily Marquette got rid of her. I mean, because she ended up being pregnant on set, so they made her pregnant with him. She was in for a couple of episodes. But did she die on Jerry World? I mean, they never explained any of it. But the writing, I think at first they had good intentions with this series. I really do. And then the budget started getting cut and they were getting like actors in and replacing it all. And then they lost it on the total sort of thing in the next 4 seasons. But they had to get to a number to get it syndicated, didn't they? But it was, you know, do I hate it? Again, I asked that question. Do you hate her final conflict? I'm half and half. I was going to say I was going to buy all 5 seasons off Amazon for 70 quid. Honestly, I was going to buy it because somehow this series, it does. I remember it from a good time in my life. It was there in the background, so it has that effect. But watching it now, a lot of it is just, I'd say 75% of it is terrible. But there's that redeeming quality where you do let it pass your bar. It goes past your bar and you think, yeah, it's a good series. It's not bad. And people will know what it is. Did you ever watch her final cut? Oh, I remember that with the Baldy aliens on that ship. You know, and that's it. I mean, it finished, I suppose, in a way, it should have been finished after season 4. But again, like I said, we get to see more of the delectable Jane March is lovely, and the rest of the cast, you know. But space vampires from outer space, sex space vampire. I mean, that has been done so many times. I'd rather that than have done something else. Do you know what I mean? Than fucking goth 80s rock star space vampires. Oh, with long claws. It went on. But we'll have to wait and see. They may remake it. But her final conflict, to me, is one of them series where, yeah, it got past the bar somehow, and you liked it. And as much as I love to say that, I do like her final conflict. And it is, I suppose in some kind of way, it's a classic series. It's like cheesy as anything, but good in some parts. So it deserves the 5 out of 5. And I hate myself for saying that, because I sat through all 5 seasons of it, and you know, I actually enjoyed watching a lot of it. You know, but I hated it. I just hated where it ended up and where it went. And if you can get what I'm saying, then you're a genius, because even I don't get what I'm saying. Love and hate this series, and that's where I am. So I can't. It got worse as it went along, but you stick with it, don't you? So it's my review of her final conflicts. Let me know your thoughts on this, guys. You know, I'm sorry this has been a long video, and I won't do this again. But I feel quite passionate about her final conflict, you know. So, guys, let me know your thoughts on this video. Please, in the corner, notification, I'm doing it again. And down there, subscribe. So, that's my review on her final conflict. All 5 seasons. Oh yeah, sorry guys, I was going to be on Wednesday. I couldn't get back in time, so I changed the day. Tomorrow I'm at home all day. I will be on at 7 o'clock tomorrow night for a live discussion. Also, I didn't want to put on major spoilers for them that haven't seen Endgame. So I think most of you now will have seen Avengers Endgame, and especially the information about the new Star Wars movie coming out. I really want to talk about this and go into the whole Endgame thing and tell me your thoughts on this. So I will see you at 7 o'clock tomorrow, guys. Please be there. I look forward to it. It's bank holiday, 7 o'clock, 2 hours. It should be fun. All right, guys, have a great day, and I'm really sorry for making this a long video.